All right. Welcome, everyone, to this DNA event where we're going to talk about how DNA upgrades work and as well the 888, the triple eight gateway that's coming up in August, which is a really important gateway because it's going to shift us to a whole new level of living. And you may be feeling it already. For those of you that have been following my writings and my offerings, we have had so much shifting in us over, well, I've been writing since 2012 about this and started writing about solar flares actually in June of 2011. So there's a lot that has shifted since that time. But this is the year that is a real game changer. This is the year that we are moving into a whole other level of living, being able to shift our perception of reality and to tap into this abundance timeline. So the biggest thing right now that we're working with is these DNA upgrades as well as the upper chakras. And as I've said, the upper chakras are the key to our evolution along with these DNA activations. So let's take a look here. I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. All right. I'm going to minimize this here. All right. So we've got here, you're going to see here the new earth archetypes that we're working with. And this is one of my courses that I teach is Navigating the Future. And we have 13 new archetypes that we are embodying through the Ascension process from 2022 to 2032. And right now we're in the galactic shapeshifter. So you may be finding you're having to shape shift a lot in your life in order to figure out exactly where you want to land. And we really have to meet these challenges head on. And one of the biggest things that I'm finding as we go through this is to really find this center within yourself. It's important, and to be aware and conscious of what's going on, and that is a big part of what we need to embody and to do as we go through this process. And it really helps us with this sense of conscious evolution, and this is the new normal. And those that are awakened and on this path are, even though it's still a difficult path, we are able to navigate it much more easily than those that may not be aware of what's going on and are caught up in that 3D, three-dimensional world, density world, and not understanding that they actually can create their life. And that is what we are learning as we go along. So DNA is a big part of conscious evolution, and it's been mostly unexpressed. There's 12 strands in the body, and there's 2 physical strands, and there's another 10 interdimensional aspects upon them, okay, that continue to get activated as we go along. And as we activate them, then we can really open gateways to infinite sources of evolutionary wisdom and really liberate ourselves, particularly spiritually, but also just really liberate ourselves overall from all of the old karmic patterning and the victim paradigm. So the big and wonderful part of this is that as we understand this, we can really tap into this rainbow of possibilities, which is why I call it rainbow DNA activation. And that really corresponds with conscious evolution. Okay. And so what we're learning to do is attune to universal laws, to the spiritual laws, to really tap into the flow of divine creation, to shift our perception of reality so that we can really intentionally and wisely apply this to transform ourselves and also our world, which desperately needs us to do that. I'm going to touch on this. This is something that I talk about a lot more in that Navigating the Future course, but it's important. The DNA, just like the rest of us, is bioluminous. So when you may hear the term in spiritual circles that we're becoming more homoluminous and beings of light. And that's really true because we have all of this information inside of us that has been forgotten. We're remembering who we really are as a spiritual being. And the DNA is a record of this. It has this memory from the beginning of time. and we are remembering as we go through it. And there's forces in our earth that are spirals. So our earth rotates in spirals. The cosmos rotates in spirals when you look at it. And this is also contained in our DNA. It's also in the spirals of our nervous system. And as we activate and attune to this cosmic coding, we remember that we're connected to all that is. It's the same as when you look at nature with the Fibonacci sequence. Everything has spirals in it, spirals upon spirals upon spirals, and that all has coding. And it all mirrors each other, right? It's when I talk about being connected to all that is, we mirror ourselves in all of that. And so when we get these cosmic events that are coming through, and right now we're in a very high solar cycle 25, and we get all of these cosmic forces coming in, we are becoming more and more attuned to this. We're becoming more sensitive to this cosmic light, to the coding that is coming in beyond the regular solar kind of capability that we have. You know, when we bring in energy from the sun, it goes into melanin in the skin, right? But this is different. We have melanin in our entire body, and a lot of people don't know this. We have melanin throughout our brain. We have melanin throughout our spine. And we're being activated through this melanin. We're receiving all of this light. And especially for those of you, and probably those of you that are here today, are very sensitive and empathic, intuitive, psychic already. You've got those talents on some level, and you've very well developed multisensory systems. And as we're going through this ascension process, that is becoming undampened more and more. So you may be finding that as well, that you are becoming more and more sensitive, but also more and more attuned as you go through this. Okay. And that's essentially how this is happening. I go into it much more into my course. And if you like going down those rabbit holes, it's really, really interesting. And I learned more about this when I went to Egypt last October, and stumbled upon a couple of books on Egyptian history and on Kundalini awakenings. And the Egyptians, as well as many African tribes that worship the sun, understood the power of the sun and the cosmos beyond just the light giving us, life force on Earth and giving us food. They understood that it could really activate our awakening and our consciousness. And so a lot of the ancient tribes in history over in that area of the world knew that. So it's really fascinating that we're remembering it now. It was lost. So when you look at the DNA here, okay, we have the 12 strands, and their teaching and purpose is to really bring online and attune us to these higher levels of activations with the 12 chakras. So they work together and mirror each other. So the DNA strand one corresponds to the first chakra. You know, the second DNA strand to the second chakra and onwards. So they again mirror each other in terms of their opening, receptiveness, and as we keep activating them, they get stronger and stronger within us, and then open us up to new levels of awareness. And so we have this coding that's been coming in since 2022. I've been talking about it since that time. And we're going to, over the next 10 years, really bring in these higher levels of activation so that by the time we get to 2032, we are in a whole different level of our sense of who we are as human beings. And then we will be going through another big spiritual awakening as we get to 2032. Okay. And we're releasing the victim archetype. So that's really what we're working on as we move through these next years till 2032. This year in particular, we're releasing the victim archetype. We're being asked to do that because we're being completely unshackled from our old reality. And so everyone gets to decide whether they want to be fully sovereign or not. And there's going to be, we won't be tapped into that old fear and control paradigm or karmic patterns. And again, this is always a choice, okay? Always a choice, but the energy is there to help you evolve as we go through this. And so this is how the DNA strands are paired up. And again, this is my channeling as I went through, and I've been channeling for a long time and really tapping in to all that is. And I'm getting stronger and stronger as time goes by, and I just am always amazed at the mysteries of the universe and that there's always so much to learn. And I plan on continuing to do this for the rest of my days here in this body. So the DNA, as I understand it, is our strands as they are activated. So they're broken up between DNA 1 to 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and 11 and 12. Okay. And so if you can see here, we've got with DNA 1 to 6, we just finished this upgrade, meaning we had a DNA activation in February. We're still in it, but we've been upgrading more and more. And each DNA upgrade, when it starts, we move through it, we're healing, clearing, right? Upgrading, and then we get to the next one, and then they all build on each other, and they're not sequential. That's what I've noticed. So for example, we had the DNA 1 to 6 in February, and then you'll see when I get to the 888 gateway where we're going to go in terms of the next DNA upgrade. Great. Sorry, my dog. Okay, Dilly, come here. He's a good guard dog. So, oh, come here. Okay. You're okay. You're okay. Yeah, you're a good girl. So we've got here DNA 1 to 6, which we went through in February. And that's where we have gratitude. We've got the inner child, childlike wonder, new beginnings. So you're probably seeing in your life that you're moving into new beginnings. So that upgrade brought in new beginnings. It brought a deeper divine connection. And that's what we're all in right now. Our intuitive insight is getting stronger. Okay. We are moving more into non-attachment, into deep faith and unabiding trust. So that DNA upgrade, which began in February, is still continuing until we get to the 888, okay, in August. And then I'll talk to you about where we're going to go after that. But as you can see, each of these has different aspects to it, different parts of ourselves as human beings that we are bringing in. Okay. So like DNA 7 and 8 is where we have more individuation, autonomy, healthy boundary, beauty, creativity. DNA 9 and 10 strands, they activate more non-duality and oneness. And we are one, resolve, resilience, and higher mind. And then DNA 11, 12 are the highest DNA upgrade we can have. They bring in a new cycle. They bring in divine order and harmony. They strengthen us to be an even stronger cosmic conduit for ascension, okay, and bring us more into flow of life. So, and DNA 11 and 12 really helps us learn to be in the flow and rhythms of the universe. So every time we go through these upgrades, okay, this is what happens within us. It gets stronger. All of these levels get stronger and stronger and stronger, and our upper chakras activate more and more and more. And so that's what we'll be working on over these next few years. So how DNA upgrades affect our health and wellness is that with each of these, and this is what I have noticed, and this is not just from channeling, but working with client. So the DNA 1 to 6, we've got a physical clearing and healing, and then we have this preparation for embodiment of this new sense of being who we are. Okay, and that's what we're in right now. We started that in February. And then DNA 7 and 8, we have physical clearing and healing. We end up with a lot of mental, emotional shifts, and we have this sort of grounded expansion. So if you think about each of these also relating to the chakras, okay? So DNA 7 and 8 would be chakra 7 and 8. And so we're moving into these upper levels. So we're getting ready for grounded expansion. Okay, DNA 1 to 6 has a lot to do with the physical body and what we're embodying. And then DNA 9 and 10 has a lot to do with physical clearing and healing. We have a lot of mental rewiring. We form new neural pathways, and we have this greater sense of metaphysical attunement. And then when we get to DNA 11 and 12, we have advanced and intense purification. So we have a lot more illumination. We end up with a greater vibrational alignment, so a higher alignment to ourselves and our etheric body. And it really supports us to begin a new cycle, okay? Stages of spiritual awakening. So all of these DNA upgrades help us in different ways as these different strands in us, okay, whether it's the physical ones and the interdimensional ones, they become activated more and more and more as we go through the ascension process. So we end up shedding a lot of density. So you've probably noticed that you're shedding, I mean, a lot. And I mean, that can come across as physical, mental, emotional. There's a lot shifting within you, as well as now spiritual, because we're into a big spiritual awakening. So this is where I keep saying, look after your physical, mental, and emotional health. You know, mental health has become, a lot more awareness around that now in the last few years because so many people are having mental health issues. And that's not a coincidence, meaning it's because as we go through this ascension process, humanity is waking up and realizing that it's got to look at all aspects of itself. And anything that was in shadow is coming to the light that we have to work with. So for yourself, you may be finding there's different areas, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, that will continue to come up for you to look at because we need to, in order to shed the density, to see the shadow, bring it into the light and heal it, to welcome it. And then we move to that next level of ascension. Okay. So it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to move through as we go through the ascension process. But I'm just going to tell you, and I'm giving you a lot of information, but let's just take a breath here for a moment and just know that this is why you came here. This is why you're here at this time, is to move through this process. Again, it's a choice, but the fact that you're actually on this call today means that you want to be a part of that. Okay. So let's take a deep breath. Okay. Deep breath in again. Okay. So how you can support yourself during these DNA upgrades when they come through, and I'll continue to talk about them. Um, I've made that promise to myself. I know that's my path to continue to talk about these in the years to come. And you can use trace minerals or some sea salt in water. Okay. Watch your blood pressure if you've got high blood pressure with that. Because our cells are upgrading too to hold more light. So we have to keep hydrating. So you may find during certain parts of the ascension process and upgrades that you become more thirsty. Drink more water, but I also find trace minerals, it hydrates you about 10 times faster. So I have a lot of my clients on trace minerals. I'm always on trace minerals. Helps your kidneys as well. Okay. So stay hydrated, de-stress your life, slow down as much as you can, especially when you're starting to feel fatigued and we're in the middle of big upgrades and clearing. High frequency music works really well, I find, or singing, toning, using crystals, crystal bowls, being in crystal sound baths, that really works well to keep your vibration. Again, it's all about shifting frequency, right? And helping the body, this physical body, to upshift as you're shifting mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Take naps. I've taken a lot of naps in the last few years, more than I normally would. Okay. Ease your digestive process, so eat lightly. Um, depending on how your digestion is, you can gauge that. I found this last couple of weeks, I actually did a juice fast, and I eat mostly vegetarian anyway, but I really, really ate lightly. Fast when you need to. And it's just like if you were in a ceremony, where it's almost like we're in sacred ceremony here continuously, and we need to continue to be in that sense of in our that sense of ourselves and to lighten the load. So any way you can lighten the load will help. There's other times when we're going through this process that we need more protein. You may find. So it really depends, and this is teaching us to really listen to our body. You know, before this, people used to really, really look at things like diets of some kind. But the fact is we're getting to the point where we need to listen to ourselves and listen to what our body needs, because the ascension process is a whole different level of physical reality versus what we were told our physical reality is in 3D. Okay, Epsom salt baths work, swimming in the ocean if you're near that, or a body of water, but salt really clears the energy field. Forest bathing, nature walks, all that connects you to life force, to all that is. I always say gardening, my personal favorite. Um, you know, I like to work things through by weeding and being near sacred sites. So if you know, when I was in Egypt, we had a full moon ceremony in the Great Pyramid of Giza, in the King's Chamber, and that was it really shifted me. Boy, I was knocked out for a few days after that, but it really helped me upgrade and really set your intention to upgrade. You know, do the energy work that you feel you need to do. If you're an energy worker, if you're around energy workers, you can do grid work if you know how to do grid work. Affirmations, visualizations help, meditation, prayer, anything to raise your frequency. Okay, as you go through these upgrades, very important to support yourself, because this physical body is having to go through a transformation that it has never gone through before, that a human body has never gone through before. So we have to be really aware of that, and especially for those of us that are very sensitive, right? Um, we really need to look after the body as well as the mind and our emotions, and be aware of that. So however, what I'm finding as we're moving through this spiritual awakening now, that the physical body is starting to repair itself, meaning the the health issues that would have kept you hindered before are coming to, and would have kept cycling with you in karmic patterns, are coming to a head, and have been coming to a head for you to look at. Okay, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And so now is your chance to really deal with it and finish them off. Okay, that's where we're at right now. And I see literally as we go forward, as we get to 2027, we're going to really have a chance to start to actually regenerate our bodies. It's really, and our bodies know how to self-heal. So that's a whole other thing. I talked about that in my Navigating the Future course, but I don't want to go down any major rabbit holes today. Um, so the products that I have for DNA upgrades, for those of you that are interested in my products, what I really like during these upgrades is I have a cosmic consciousness protection essence. It has salt in it, along with other beautiful flower and gem essences to really protect the field and to help you download better and more smoothly. I have a new cosmic consciousness connector spray I've been working on. I've been testing it out with clients. That I'm going to be launching soon. The DNA essences that I have really help, because again, they set the template for those different strands of DNA and help support you to again through the body more smoothly. And also I have a monthly Ascension box. And so that's a new one that's coming out as well. And I'll be announcing that in the next little while. So I have a few things to support you. Okay. And so let's get on to the 888 gateway and what we're going to be working with during the 888 gateway. So this is a really potent gateway, and it corresponds to the second and final DNA upgrade for 2024. So we had the first one in February, and the second one will be in August, of course, on the 888. And then we'll be in this shift and this upgrade until March of next year. So we have 2 next year as well. So sometimes we have 2, sometimes we have 1. It really depends on what is happening in the cosmos and where we need to shift so that we can keep on this trajectory. So by 2032, we're embodying ourselves, we're embodied in this new sense of being a human being. Okay. And the new earth paradigm fully by 2032, and ready for the next phase of our spiritual awakening and growth. So 888 in numerology is about infinity. Okay. It also is about DNA activation. So that's really helpful. and also is about abundance. So I've been talking about the abundance timeline, and which has always been there, but we've been separated from it because we have been in separation. Now that we're moving into all that is, we can really tap into this abundance timeline. And abundance is different for everybody. Okay. What's abundant to you may not be abundant to me. So it's important that you continue to explore what really brings you joy, what really fills your heart. And it can be very simple things. Okay. For me, it's mostly walking in nature, being connected to nature, animals, plants, okay, having wonderful supportive relationships. So you have to figure out for you what it is that makes life abundant for you. And generally, when you look at your karmic patterning, you can see where you kept looping in things that you now get to break out of, and you get to create a life that is much more abundant for yourself. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean money, um, because in the new paradigm, money is not really the focus. Money is just energy like anything else. It's a level of power. So again, take a look at what that means for you as we go forward, because we have lots of opportunity to create our life starting, well, really now and moving through this 888 gateway. Okay. And portal, this Lionsgate portal is activated by the rising of the star Sirius. And it's going to really start sort of through the end of July to the middle of August. So for yourself, you can pair by continuing to take a look at where you want to shift things in your life, because we have to meet the universe halfway. Okay. Now, Sirius, which is part of this, Sirius is our spiritual sun. And so this is the energy that's going to support us as we go through this 888 gateway. And it's a gateway to heaven. Okay. It's has the constellation home and has these higher vibrational beings called Sirians, and they're very highly advanced in their wisdom. And so they send down a lot of spiritual energy to us at this time. And it's also said that this constellation energy is responsible for healing karmic lessons. So again, we're getting support even more so to really let go of karmic lessons, not only in ourselves, but just overall for the human species, so that we can get out of some of these patterns, or that we have the choice to get out of victim, fear, control, lack, and scarcity, as well as destruction patterns that we've been in, and really start to work with this energy and flow of creation. Okay. And so this opening of the Lionsgate portal really helps us bring in more awakening and lifting of our consciousness to new heights. Really helps us to do that. All right. So, and this is a picture of the pyramids of Giza, and Sirius is a star there that shines. It says that there's different views here of the pyramids, that they line up with the Orion's belt, the three of them, as well as Sirius, when it rose in the summer, that's when the flooding of the Nile would happen and bring in abundance, right? Bring in crops, so, and life and water. Uh, so it's been Sirius is a sun that's like a spiritual sun for us, is a star that's been worshipped for a long, long time, and was known by the ancients to be part of our spiritual awakening path. Okay, when it shows up in the sky. So for this DNA upgrade, the 888, the strands that are going to ignite are the 11th and 12th strands. Okay, so as I mentioned before, and this is 11 and 12 strands, when they are activated, it activates every other strand in the body to a new level. And then we begin the process anew to continue to keep ascending. And so this is about cosmic conduit ascension. So you are becoming a stronger cosmic conduit. Okay, especially like starting now, but especially as we go through 888. Okay, your tap will be tapped more into divine order, into harmony, into more balance and the flow of life, and conscious embodiment. So being in this flow and rhythm of the universe we're going to a level that we never have before. and meeting that abundance timeline. Again, if we so choose, because we must meet the universe halfway. First of all, with consciousness and awareness, and then secondly, with inspired action. So when you're being prompted through your intuition to act, it's to listen to that, to really listen and sit in that, and to move out of the ego and move to the sense of knowing within yourself. That is what you're learning to do. And that's coming on more and more. Uh, and 888 really is a clean slate for you, for all of us. We are free of karmic residue, looping, everything. We're done finally through all levels of our being. We've lightened the load enough that that's where we are. And from here, you get to decide then how you want to create your life. All right. And work with the universe on that. You have the ability to create an abundant life. And so that's something for you to continue to believe. And that's releasing the victim. And that anything that happens outside of you, if you have a strong center and a strong core, cannot affect you. Okay. From really achieving your desires and your destiny. So in preparation for 888, I would suggest, if you're interested in this, is to really set your intentions for what you desire. And it can be very simple. Again, it can be that you want to be healthy, that you want to shed a few pounds that you could never lose before, that you want to tackle a health issue that you're still grappling with. It can be that you want loving relationships and support in a way that you haven't had before, that you want to be able to manage your finances better. I mean, it can be very simple earthly things, but they bring you abundance, sense of peace and order and balance. I keep talking about balance. It can be that you want to stretch your sense of spirituality, or find a group of spiritual, like-minded people. So whatever it is for you that will help you feel more balanced in your life, it may be you want more grace. You just want to be able to have more ease in your life. So these are the things that as we move with the flow and rhythms of the universe, we can feel like life is more abundant. So set your intentions for what you desire. Beyond winning the lottery. Although, if you want to win the lottery, even then you have to buy a ticket if you want to win, right? So you've got to meet the universe halfway. So just take a look at what it is that you really want, and that will help you through this gateway. And let's just visualize a world where we do get infinite love, and we have faith and joy and self-actualization, abundance and co-creation. Because the more that, and coming together today, even we're raising the vibration, the more that we positively envision that, the more we create it. We are very powerful, and we're becoming more powerful each time we go through these upgrades. And that's why I always say, watch your thoughts, your words, and your action. Okay. So yeah, that's what we are going to be um, able to embody as we go through this gateway. So I hope that was helpful for you. And I'm going to take a look at the chat. Oh, wonderful. Hi, Sahar. It's wonderful to see. There's some people here that I know well, and then others that are new. I'm so grateful that you came today. Um, does anyone have any questions? I know that there's a lot of information. So yeah. Mika, any high frequency music you can recommend? You know what? I find that YouTube has some beautiful high frequency music. So I normally will just search in there for abundance music, or literally if you type in high frequency music, it'll bring up the high frequency music for you. So YouTube, Spotify also has quite a bit too. You can take a look at that. And yeah, but YouTube, that's at least free, and you can you can go in there and play that. All right. And Jocelyn says, why do the upgrades jump around? I don't know, Jocelyn. I'm still trying to figure that one out. They jump around according to I perhaps where we are shifting in our sense of consciousness, like where we need to grow and where we need to be activated in order to bring in, right, this new sense of who we are as a human being. That's the best that I can give you on that. Because more and more I'm learning as I go through this process. And yeah, the more that I open up to the mysteries of the universe. So that's what I know.
Susanna Puglisi.
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, Delphi's having a problem with people in my backyard. Hey, come on. He's, like I said, a good guard dog.
Hi.
Okay. And so, sorry, can you say that again?
I am Susanna Puglisi. I have a question.
Yes. Hi,
Uh,
Susanna.
I noticed that all the things that you said, I've been going through and I understand. My only concern is I just turned 83 years of age, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive all this. I'm pretty strong. I do my yoga, meditate. I watch my thoughts. I've been doing metaphysics, teaching yoga for many years. But,
Mm-hmm.
there are days that the headaches, with my Aquarius ascendant and my Venus and Aries. Oh, gee. So,
Yeah, it's hard. This is hard on the physical body. I hear you. And as we age, it's harder on us, I find. Um, yeah, the only thing I can say is you are exactly where you need to be, and you're looking after yourself as much as you can. And that really is the key, right? That's the key, is to just meet this process as gracefully um, and as much as you feel you can, and look after yourself. Um, and yeah, and you will, I guess I kind of look at it like we are having to just be in this and meet it where we meet it and surrender to it and do what we can do. And that's really what counts, right?
thank God I talk to all the angels and archangels, my solar angels.
Yeah, yeah, we're talking to a lot of our guides these days, Susanna, going, come on. It's a lot. It's a
Come
lot.
on, guys, don't give up on me, guys.
Yeah, don't give up on me. Yeah, and that's it. It's beautiful that you are so aware. I mean, I really that is amazing, Susanna, because there there aren't a lot of a lot of older people I know who are as awake as you are. So that's something as well. You're an inspiration to me and others, that way. So just continue to be awake and keep your vibe high, and that's how you help yourself and the
I
world.
I feel that my mission is to work on myself and just be the light, embody
That's
the light.
yes. Yes. And that's it. That's the being. When I talk about, abundance, it can be just we're here to be of service as well and to grow. That's why we're here.
I am,
Right?
I am
We've forgotten
very
that.
about that. I might not have all the financial things right now, but I have I have the universe. I am the universe.
Yes, you are. And yes, the financial part of it, it's interesting, many are going through the financial issues now, and part of that I feel is just we're learning to know who we are, having that true sense of power within ourselves without any of these external sources of power, still knowing and loving ourselves despite anything that's happening, knowing that we are worthy despite being attached to that old paradigm of money. Um, Unfortunately, we still have to operate within that. But as we move to this abundance timeline and we really move into higher levels of who we are, abundance can flow in more easily, including money for us, and we get what we need. Okay.
Yes, And I am very thankful that you are part of my path.
Oh,
I,
thanks,
I
Susanna.
really am, and I love you. And I just hope that, it gets better and better for all of us.
I feel it. I feel it will. It's and the more that we hold that higher vibration and really envision a world that is abundant, then we will have that and have what we need, and everyone will have what they need, right? So, yeah, it's amazing. So, oh, it's wonderful. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming today and some wonderful comments. And that, yeah, I hope it was helpful for you as we go through this and how you can support yourself. Yes, it's the universe is abundant and kind, and that's what we're remembering. All
Thank you
right.
so
Thanks
much.
so much, everybody. Wonderful to see you today. Bye bye.
Bye
Many
bye.
blessings to you.
Bye.